Good morning. Today we want to see about programming. So we will wait for other students for 1 minute. Until that, we will revise our previous session. In previous session, we have studied about Arduino hardware and the programming. So in Arduino hardware, we have seen we are using Atmega 328 controller, which is having 28 pins. And in Arduino board, we are having 6 analog pins. Here we can connect analog as a input to the Arduino Uno board. And we can assign analog input or a digital output by using the pin mode function. Then we have studied about digital pin. We are using 14 D0 to D13 14 digital pin because we know we have to do programming in Arduino IDE software which can understand only 0 and 1 numbers. These numbers we are calling as the digital binary numbers. So here we will see about the programming. We know we are using code which is sensitive because we are using Arduino programming in which two functions are necessary, and these functions are called as the void setup and the void loop function. In void setup function, we know that will execute only once, and void setup function we have to assign here which pin we are using as an input and which pin we are using as an output. Then we have studied about if we have to write statement. At that time, we have to write this statement by using, small letter of alphabets. We cannot write capital alphabet. But if there are two words like pin mode, if there is two words at a time, then first letter we will write by using only small letter. And जो second word है उसका first letter capital रहेगा. So if you are writing pin mode, then PIN will be in small letter and mode का M जो होगा वो capital letter में रहेगा. Or there will be no space in between these two words. After finishing our statement, we are supposed to give semicolon. हमारा जब statement खत्म हो रहा है, उसके बाद we have to end that statement by semicolon. And we have to write this statement in the curly braces. A, B, C, D, E, F. Please mute yourself. Please don't disturb the class. Okay. So here you can see स्क्रीन दिख रहा है सभी को? स्क्रीन दिख रहा है? महेश, प्रियंका, my screen is visible, my voice is audible. आवाज आ रही है अच्छी से?
हाँ सर, हाँ मैम.
Okay, it's fine. ठीक है, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
You can mute yourself and focus on our today's class. Here we can see our code is sensitive. We have to write code in 2 steps, and these steps are building by using 2 functions, and we are calling program as a sketch in our Arduino programming. And here if we have to take any pin of the Arduino as input or output, then we have to assign that pin as per our requirement in the void setup, because we know void setup function will execute only once. Void setup function will execute only once, and after finishing execution of setup function, execution will go to the loop function. And what we have to do if we are doing LCD interfacing, if we are doing LED, ADC interfacing, if we are display anything, if we are printing, we have to write this statement in the while loop function. If we are giving delay in between 2 functions, then we have to give delay, and that delay we will give only in the numbers that will be value taken as it is in the millisecond. If we are writing 1000, that will be taken as a 1000 millisecond. So here we can say if we have to write the comment, if I am writing any program and I am exposing that program as a project, then what? If other people are looking that program, then if they are not that much aware about the program, and they have to understand the program. So what we can do, we can write the comment after our statement. So if we have to write any comment after statement, we have to write the comment in between two slanting line. It means what? If we are writing comment which will be on one line, only one sentence, then we can write this by using two slanting line. And if there are multiple comments, instead of one statement हम ज़्यादा comment दे रहे हैं, at that time our comment will start with slash and star, and it will end it with star and slash. These are little things which we have to follow when we are writing the program in Arduino. So here you can see when we are writing the program. That program is called as a sketch in Arduino program. When we are writing the program, that will first we will compile, we see if there is any error, we have to again rebuild that error and we have to again run that. If there is no compiler error and that program is running and we are uploading that program on our Arduino board, हम क्या करेंगे, हमारा प्रोग्राम सही है तो हम उसको करेंगे, और यदि रन करने के बाद हम क्या करेंगे, हमारा जो ऑर्डिनो बोर्ड यूएसबी के थ्रू जो हमारा डेस्कटॉप है जिस पे हम प्रोग्राम कर रहे हैं उसको कनेक्ट करेंगे एंड वी विल अपलोड दैट प्रोग्राम ऑन अवर ऑर्डिनो बोर्ड. सो दैट प्रोग्राम विल कॉल एज अ sketch. Then we know we are having number of pins in the Arduino Uno board. Any board, you can take Raspberry Pi boards, Duke board, Arduino Uno board. We know we are using their controller and it will have lots of pin. We can use that pin as input or output depending on our need. So we can call this pin as input or output, and that will be connected to something. It means what? That will sometime connected to the any temperature sensor, any LVDT, or sometime it will be connected to our Arduino Uno board. Jaise we know, if we are doing LED interface, digital pin 30 number, there is inbuilt LED. So we can assign that LED as output by using pin mode function. So we can call that 30 number as a pin. So it is input or output that will be connected to Arduino or that will be connected to any device. That will be ADC interfacing, that will be serial communication, any device you can connect. If we are giving, if we have to bring the LED and we are giving maximum input voltage, then we can say that is as a digital value. If we are giving high value, in analog we can say that will be 5 volt. If you are saying in the digital value, that will be maximum. Maximum means what? Uska value rahega 1, because in digital we are using only two numbers, that is from 0 to 1, and 0 means minimum and 1 means maximum. So we can make that value as high or a low. High means we can make that value as a 1 and low means we can make that value as a 0. Then analog. We know when we are using Arduino board to do interfacing. At that time, what we are doing? Here we are using analog input or output voltage. If we are interfacing any analog device with Arduino Uno board, we can interface that device as at the pin number A0, because we know there is inbuilt ADC in the Arduino Uno board. तो हमें पता है, and how we are taking 0 to 255, why we will take that value? Can anyone tell me? Because we have seen that how we have to convert 0 to 5 volt into 0 to 250. Is there anyone who will explain? Sidesh Kaikar. Okay, it's fine. Please mute yourself. Okay, so if we know we are taking maximum voltage on Arduino Uno board, that will be 5 volt. Please mute yourself. Okay. So we are using 0 to 5 volt, and here in Arduino Uno board we are using 8-bit value. So 2 raised to it, that will be 255. So we are taking its value from 0 to 255 as a analog, and if we have to give high value in digital, we are considering it is as a 1, and minimum we will consider as a 0. और analog में हम 0 से 255 तक you can take any value, that will be analog. This is the hardware structure for the Arduino Uno board. We know at analog pin A0. This is analog in means what? We can take here any analog input, and that input will be converted into digital, and that will be given to the digital value. So here we know at the pin A0 there is inbuilt ADC, because sometimes there will be some electronic devices in market which will give only analog output, but we require digital because we have to do programming in Arduino software, and that will understand only digital value. So we have to convert that analog value into the digital. So we are using here ADC that will convert that value into digital, and that will give the output here. And in digital, if you see, some numbers are directly written as it is, and बिफोर सम नंबर्स देयर इज अ टिल्टेड सिंबल. टिल्टेड जैसे हम इक्वल टू का साइन लेते हैं वैसे वो टिल्ट सिंबल दिया है. सो इट इज नथिंग बट इफ वी आर यूजिंग tilted before any number in the digital pin, this pin will be assigned for pulse width modulation. Here written digital in bracket PWM. PWM means what? If we have to use pulse width modulation, if we have to interface any analog device with Arduino Uno board, that will be pulse width modulation. Then we can use that as tilted pin. ये जो tilted pin है उसमें हम कोई भी pin को PWM का output we can connect. Then we have studied about how to convert analog value into the digital. If we are having 0, that will be value as a 0 in the digital. And if we are taking analog value, that will be 5 volt. So that digital value will be maximum, that will be 255, because we are taking 2 raised to 8, that will be 256, but we are starting from the 0 number, so that will be 8 bit, and 8 bit is nothing but 255. So these are the conversion from analog to the digital. You can see graphical structure, how we are converting analog value into the digital. On x-axis, I have taken here time, that is nothing but the sampling period, how we are converting analog value into the digital. This is the sinusoidal structure. ये जो साइन वेव का जैसा जो ये जो वेव है, that is analog. ये black line, that will be the analog signal, and the blue line I have given here red spots, that will give us sampling points, how we are converting analog value into the digital. So हम कैसे convert कर रहे हैं? We are converting that value as a 8-bit signal, because we are using here 8-bit. So here you will get value as a digital, that will be from 0 to 5. In analog you can say that value is from 0 to 5 volt, and you can say or 0 to 255, because 2 raised to 8, that will be 256. So we are taking the value as digital from 0 to 255. So these square lines, ये जो square form में जो blue color में बताया है, that is the digital quantized signal. And if you see the differences between analog to digital, you can see here we are getting the value more than 4.37 for this analog. But if you are converting that value into the digital, you are getting the value 4.375. So that is the difference. We are calling that difference as the quantization error. We can call that difference as the quantization error. So we can convert analog value into the digital, because when we are interfacing any analog device with the Arduino board. At that time we have to convert that value into the digital, because Arduino Uno board will only understand the digital value. वो सिर्फ डिजिटल वैल्यू अंडरस्टैंड करता है, इसलिए हम क्या कर रहे हैं, उनको कन्वर्ट कर रहे हैं. Then we can see when we are using ADC in Arduino Uno board. We know Arduino Uno board has 6 analog pins. So we can use these pins for the ADC interfacing. And we know we are using 10-bit analog to digital converter. So we can convert the value that is will be 10 bit. So 2 raised to 10 will be 1024. So that value will be between from 0 to 1023. क्योंकि हम 1 से start करने की जगह we are considering minimum value as a 0. So we have to convert that value from 0 to 5 volt into 0 to 1023. We have seen this conversation into previous. How we are taking the value? We are taking value as V equal to V out into 5 into 100. So that we can convert value as 0 to 5 volt into 0 to 1023 when we have to interface ADC with Arduino Uno. If we have to consider any pin as an input, if we have to consider any pin as an output, then if we are using Arduino programming, then we can use pin mode instruction. ये जो pin mode instruction है, this is the syntax when we have to consider any pin as input or a output. So we can set that pin as an input by using pin mode, that will be in small letter. After that, we are supposed to give parenthesis, open parenthesis, close parenthesis. Here we have to write pin number. If you are taking A0 as input, so you can write pin mode in bracket A0 comma input. So that will be assigned as an input. And if you are considering any pin as an output, so we can write pin mode in bracket A5 comma output. It means what? The analog A5 pin will be assigned as a output, and we are assigning any pin or input as output in the setup function. And we know void setup function will execute only once. And what we are doing in the setup function, these things will remain until the life cycle of our program or until we are not resetting the board. तो हम क्या कर सकते हैं यहाँ पे, we can assign any pin as input or output in the setup function. हम क्या करेंगे, setup function में assign करेंगे ताकि हम हमारा जो program है we can use that pin as input or output. Then there is network issue, just wait for a minute. My voice is audible? My voice is audible? Okay, okay, okay. So you can see here, when we have to assign any pin as input or output, we can assign by using the pin mode instruction. If we are taking any value, it means what? We can say that as a, we will reading the value. And if we are giving any, means what? If we are receiving, at that time we can receive that value by using digital read. And if we are transferring, it means what? If we are giving data to Arduino board, that time we can use digital write instruction. What we can do here, we have to give here pin as a value that will be high or a low. So we can give that value by using high or low. So we can write digital read in bracket pin comma that value that will be low or a high. So we can write this. So we can write digital read in bracket pin comma value. Value की जगह तुम directly you can write here high or low. If you are writing high in digital, we are having high value as a 1. So what we will do, if we are writing 1 and if you are writing here pin number, if we are doing LED interfacing, so here if you are writing digital read in bracket a uh, this is the digital, so what we can do, we can take the digital pin. डिजिटल पिन कहाँ से कहाँ तक है हमारे पास, D0 से D13 तक, तो हम क्या करेंगे, डिजिटल रीड इन ब्रैकेट D13 कॉमा हाई, तो उसका मीनिंग क्या हो जाएगा, तुम्हारा जो 13 नंबर का पिन है वहां पे LED will glow because you are giving the higher value. Higher value means you are giving 5 volt supply. And if you are not giving, so what we can do here, if you are connecting that LED to the ground terminal, it means what? If you are not giving any input voltage, if you are giving low value or zero value, so we can use digital read in bracket D13 comma low. तो D13 पे क्या है हमारा LED, तो LED क्या हो जाएगा, that LED will stop to blink. That LED does not blink, वो blink नहीं होगा. And if you are receiving any data, at that time we are using digital read. And if you are transferring data, we can transfer data by using the digital write. So we can use here pin comma value, whatever pin. If you are having D0, D12, D13, we can take that pin number and value. We are giving high or low value. Here we will write only two values because whenever we are doing programming in Arduino, at that time we know we will use only in digital 0 and 1 value. So we can write here high or a low. Low will be 0 and high will be 1. That will be 5. We know whenever we are using LED, at that time if we are not taking inbuilt LED, which is we are getting at the pin number D30, or हम LED we are not taking in our project. If we are giving any LED externally, at that time output can stuff provide 40 milliampere of current, but LED will capable to handle only 20 milliampere. If we are using LED externally on the PCB, this is the printed circuit board, and we are connecting that LED with our Arduino Uno board. और Arduino board जो है वो हमने हमारे डेस्कटॉप से USB के साथ कनेक्ट किया है. तो Arduino board क्या कर रहा है हमें, it will provide us 40 milliampere current. But we know if we are using LED, it is only capable to take 20 milliampere. 20 milliampere current, and if you are giving excess current, that will be 40 milliampere, what will happen, that LED can damage. So to prevent that our LED, what we can do to prevent the damage of LED, we can use their resistor. Due to resistor, if we are using their resistor, that will oppose the excess current and that will allow only to flow 20 milliampere in that LED. So here we can use resistor to convert 40 milliampere current into the 20 milliampere by using current divider rule. हम क्या कर सकते हैं वहां पे, we can use the resistors. रजिस्टर यूज करके के हम ये जो 40 मिली एम्पियर करंट है उसको हम 20 मिली एम्पियर में कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं. सो वी कैन डू द चेंजेस बाय यूजिंग रजिस्टर. सो we can convert that value into the 20 milliampere. If we are doing any programming, if we are doing any interfacing, and if you are supposed to do the same functions repeatedly, but after some time, then we can give delay. Delay is nothing but it is related with the time. It is the time difference which will happen between two successive functions. मतलब two commutative, जो एक के बाद एक जो functions है, if you are giving the delay in between two functions, means if you are making LED glow and LED blinking will stop continuously. So what we can do, we can give delay. So we can give delay by using the syntax delay in bracket. Bracket में क्या लिखना है, there is no need to write this unit. You can directly write here number. तुम यहाँ पे सीधा नंबर लिख सकते हो, मिली सेकेंड लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है. हाउ वी कैन राइट, इफ यू आर सपोज टू गिव 1000 milliseconds delay, you can give delay in bracket 1000. So that will be taken as delay and that will be paused दैट फंक्शंस फॉर फ्यू milliseconds. जितना तुम टाइम दे रहे हो उसके लिए वो फंक्शन पॉज हो जाएगा. If you are giving the delay in the microseconds, what we have to do? We have to convert that value into microseconds. But in your syllabus you are having only small numbers of programs. तुम्हें क्या है? सिर्फ LVDT, LCD, LED, serial communication, LM35, then strain gauge and LVDT. Only 6 to 7 programs. So there is not need of these microseconds. You will need only the delay, which will be measured in the milliseconds. So directly you can use delay instruction and you can write that time in the open and close parentheses. Then we have seen we are converting digital value into the analog. How? If we are having any interfacing and if we are converting any value into the digital, but we needed analog output. हम क्या कर रहे हैं? If we have to do interfacing with Arduino Uno board, we have to interface any device. But how we are doing? We are transferring data from our Arduino to the that device. हमने अभी तक जो प्रोग्राम देखे उसमें हमने क्या किया है? एनालॉग इंटरफेसिंग की है. हाउ वी हैव डन? वी आर टेकिंग एनालॉग एज अ इनपुट. हम LVDT या फिर हम क्या कर रहे हैं? ऑर्डिनो बोर्ड के साथ जो भी डिवाइस यूज कर रहे हैं, लाइक वी आर यूजिंग स्ट्रेन गेज, उसका जो आउटपुट है दैट इज नथिंग बट that will be in the form of resistance and that value is in the displacement and that will be analog. So we are taking that analog as an input and we are giving to our Arduino Uno board और फिर हम उसको डिजिटल में कन्वर्ट कर रहे हैं. बट अभी हमें क्या करना है? इफ वी आर टू सपोज interface Arduino Uno board with any analog device, how we have to transfer data from Arduino board to some analog. Means what? If we are having the digital output from Arduino board, because we know when we are using Arduino Uno board, we will get the output at the digital pin and that will be in the form of digital. So we have to convert that value into analog. So analog में digital में क्या किया था हमने? We are converting analog value into digital. The same only in the opposite process. We have to convert that digital value into the analog. If we are having 0 to 255 digital value, then in analog you will get 0 to 5 volt. So digital values are nothing but 0 and 1. 1 means on and 0 means off. And analog will have infinite values. You can see here when we are taking the wave which will look like a sinusoidal. This is the analog and the dashed line. These are nothing but which are looking like a digitized in the square form. These are called as the sampled output, or we can say this is as a digital signal. So we can convert analog into digital or we can convert digital into analog as per our need. But in our syllabus only you will need ADC interfacing because we are using LVDT which will give analog value. We can do strain gauge interfacing that will also give analog value. We are using temperature sensor भी क्या देता है? Analog value. So only we have to use ADC. DAC का concept तुम्हारे syllabus में नहीं दिया है. Then we have seen if we have to do programming, we have to store the data. How we are storing the data? We are storing the data by using the memories. And how we are taking the data? That data we will take by using data type and that will be in the form of 0 and 1. हम क्या कर रहे हैं? हमारे पास जो CPU है, this is nothing but the processor of Atmega 328 controller, in which we know there is inbuilt RAM. RAM will store this, ये जो data है, that will store for some time and we can call this data as a byte. Byte means what? If we are having the 8-bit value, we can call it is the byte. If you see, it is from 0 to 15. So it is the 16-bit. So we can say this is the 2 byte. तो हम इसको क्या बोल सकते हैं? 2 byte. And 2 byte is nothing but word. If we are having the 16-bit value, we are saying that data type as a word. If we are having 8-bit value, we are calling this as a byte. And bit matlab kya? If we are having value only in the form of 0 or 1, और एक ही वैल्यू है, मेरे पास सिर्फ 1 है या फिर मेरे पास 0 है, विल कॉल दिस एज सिंगल बिट एज अ बिट, ये जो सिंगल बिट है, एंड वी आर कॉलिंग द लो बिट एज द लीस्ट सिग्निफिकेंट, एंड this bit we are calling as the most significant bit. And if we are having the value of any data as a 4 bit, so 4 bit will called as a nibble. 2 nibble will make 1 byte. 1 byte means 8 byte. These are how we are storing the data. We are storing data in the form of bit, and that bit is nothing but one single digit. If we are taking data of 8-bit, we are calling it is as a byte. I have written here how we are converting bit to byte. These are the bit position I have written here. Then we can see when we are using the data type, we can call this data type as a variable. Functions कौन से use करते हैं हम Arduino में? We are using setup and loop function, and variable, the data type we are using number of. We can take integer, unsigned integer, signed integer, doubled, we can take float, we can take string. If we are taking any integer value, that will take by using data type integer, so that will store only integer value. If we are taking that value which will have positive sign only, so we can take here integer की जगह तुम क्या लिख सकते हो? Unsigned integer. So that will be unsigned मतलब वहाँ पे हम negative sign नहीं consider करेंगे. We will consider only the number which will be greater than 0. 0 से आगे की कोई भी number, that will store only the integer. If there is any point value, so we can use data type as a float, or we can say that data type as a double. So it will store only that value which will have the decimal point. If you are using decimal point, then you cannot take integer value. You are supposed to take here point. तुम्हें यहाँ पे compulsory decimal point you are supposed to keep. If we are supposed to write any character, we can take data type as char, cat. This is nothing but the character. Or we can take as a string. तुम data type string भी ले सकते हो, or you can take that data type in the form of char. This is the character. So we can print anything which will be needed, and that will only have character. That will only have the text. This is a text है. उसमें हम number नहीं लिख सकते. So these are the data type. If we are supposed to do program of LED, so how we will interface? We will take here firstly Arduino Uno board, and the digital 13 pin number we will connect that to the LED. How will you connect? We know this side will be considered as a anode, and जो arrow वाला side है, it will be considered as a ground. So we can connect 13 pin number to anode of LED by using resistor, because here we know Arduino board will give 40 milliampere current, but LED is not capable to take that much current. We have to convert that 40 milliampere into the 20 milliampere. So we are using here resistor to oppose the excess amount of current. And we can connect negative terminal of LED to the ground terminal of our Arduino Uno board. हम उसको Arduino board का जो ground terminal है उसे हम connect कर सकते हैं. When we are supposed to write the program, firstly what we will do? Firstly, we are supposed to take Arduino Uno board at the 13 pin number. We are supposed to take a register. We can build this LED and register on PCB. हम PCB पे ये connections करके we can run our program. And after that, we have to give main supply, AC power supply to our Arduino Uno board by using power jack. जो हमारा Arduino बोर्ड होता है उसमें एक पावर जैक के लिए ऑप्शन होता है, तो वहां हम क्या करेंगे, हमारा डायरेक्टली पावर देंगे फ्रॉम आवर मेन एसी सप्लाई. देन वी कैन connect USB cable in between Arduino board and our program in our desktop. And when we will open the Arduino software, at that time we will write the program in the editor box. How we'll write? Firstly we will write void setup. मैंने void setup का यहाँ नहीं लिखा है. I have already explained that program. So how will you write? Firstly, in void setup function, you will assign pin mode in bracket 13 comma output. So 13 pin number hai, it will be assigned as a output. Then void loop function, you are supposed to make that LED glow for second, and you are supposed to make that LED off for second. So we can make that LED on and off by using the digital write function. So how we can do? When we are transferring data from our Arduino Uno board to external LED, we can use digital write instruction. So while loop में आप क्या करोगे? You will start by using the curly braces in which you will write the statement to make LED on and to make LED off. So we can use here digital small letter, write का first letter capital in bracket 13 comma high. So that will make your LED glow. After you can give delay. After giving the delay, that LED will make pause for some time. It will not glow. And what will do? You will make in that time that LED low. So we can take here digital write in bracket 13 comma low. तो ये 13 नंबर पे जो हमने LED कनेक्ट किया है, that will be become off. Again you can give delay, and again this function will happen again and again. You can end your statement by the curly bracket. You can compile here. If you are compiling and if it is not showing any error, तो यहाँ पे तुम्हें दिखेगा कि you are not having any error. It is compiling. So what you can do? We can upload. ये जो arrow वाला side है यहाँ पे, we can click on that button and you can upload our program on our Arduino Uno. तो क्या हो जाएगा? ये जो 13 नंबर के साथ तुमने USB पे यहाँ पे PCB पे जो 13 नंबर के साथ जो LED कनेक्ट किया है, वो क्या हो जाएगा? ग्लो हो जाएगा. थोड़ी देर के लिए बंद हो जाएगा. ग्लो हो जाएगा, बंद हो जाएगा. This function will happen continue until you are not resetting your board, until you are not making power off. Until that LED will make on and off continuously. Here we have finished our second unit. Now in third unit there will be new concept, that will be DC machine. तो वो यहाँ पे तुम्हारा Arduino के थे जो पहले 2 यूनिट थे, तो उसमें हमने क्या देखा है? We have seen about Arduino hardware and the Arduino software, which we are doing the programming on the Arduino IDE software. This is the example for ADC interfacing. How we can do the interfacing? We can do ADC interfacing by using any analog device. We can take here analog device as a serial communication. We can take any device that will be having analog value. We can take here temperature sensor, you can take here strain gauge, LVDT, और उसका output जो है we will give to the Arduino board that will convert that analog value into the digital, और digital के जो D0 से D13 है उसके pin को वो that value it will provided in the form of digital. I have already explained that program in the previous session. So here we have finished our second unit. If anyone is facing any issue, you can ask me. I am taking your attendance. Aditya, do you have any issue?
Sir.
हाँ, ask me.
No, no,
time.
madam.
हाँ, ओके. क्लासरूम में सब नोट्स शेयर किए हैं, व्हाट्सएप के ग्रुप में भी शेयर किए हैं. उसके थ्रू असाइनमेंट कंप्लीट करो और सबमिट करो. और टेस्ट सिर्फ 8 लोगों ने दी है अभी तक.
Okay, ma'am.
हाँ, ओके.
Ma'am, my new admission is there, so how I'll submit the test?
You can join the classroom. You can put message on my WhatsApp. I will send the classroom link.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. You guys can leave now.